ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतै यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ 187 उभयं मिलितं विद्या यदि तर्हि घटादयः अर्धविद्याभाजिनः स्युः सकलद्वैतविस्मृतेः। So Vidyaranya in this verses is answering a Purvapaksha. And Purvapaksha's view is that Atma Jnanam is Aparoksha Jnanam when two conditions are fulfilled. One is a Jnana Vritti in the mind. The very Vritti assumes the form of Atma. Like when the 10th man is told, you are 10th man, a Vritti arises in his mind that I am 10th man, which knocks off the ignorance of the 10th man and a error born of this ignorance that I am 9th. We should understand this. And therefore, so when a pramata, Ahankara listens to this, that when teacher tells him, you are consciousness. So very mind assumes, the vritti, mind means the thought assumes, aham vritti, assumes the form of consciousness, that I am consciousness. In the light of this knowledge, which we generally call it as objectification. It's objectification without being objectified. Please understand this. Atma is not objectified like a pot. So there are two thoughts, idam vritti and aham vritti. So when the mind assumes through sense organs, contact the object and then it assumes a form, pot thought. But that is, pot thought ultimately is this thought, idam vritti. Yeah, that kind of objectification would not be there when you listen that you are consciousness. Very aham vritti. But that pot thought, of course, is aham vritti. This thought is recognized by aham vritti, the knower, pramata. And that is how you say, well, this is pot. That won't happen here. When you listen to Shastra, the words of Shastra, well, through teacher, of course, generate. In the case of pot, etc., well, the perception generate. This thought, pot thought, and the very I thought, the knower, recognize that this thought, that pot thought, and pot knowledge takes place. Well, here, in our case, in case of self-knowledge, this is different. No two processes are involved, only one process. I discussed this in the last Bhagavad Gita class here. So this happens. So objectification we call. When mind assumes a vritti, is called objectification. Somebody had a objection also. No, no, Swamiji, Atma is not. But here it is not a idam thought. It is just I thought. But aham vritti itself now assume a consciousness, form of consciousness. I am consciousness. I am Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Sabhava, etc. In light of that, that ahankara, pramata, aham vritti, which is taken as a pramata, of course, is resolved. Resolved means it has been understood as a mithya. So the self-ignorance goes away along with the this the error, self-error, that I am pramata, I am this, etc., also gets resolved. Like the 10th man comes to know that I am the 10th man, then definitely ignorance of the 10th man along with the the error pertaining to himself, that I am 9th, resolves. Same way. In fact, I am 9th. That error is sustained by the 10th man. We should understand. I am 9th, that is born of ultimately ignorance of the 10th man, but both are sustained by the 10th man. And so when he is told you are 10th man, the the ignorance pertaining to the 10th man is gone, along with the error born of the ignorance also gone. That I am 9th, that error resolves. So definitely, here also, what is self-knowledge, etc., that's a question several times asked. So here, unlike the knowledge of the anatma, well, when there is a atma anatma sambandha is there, then definitely anatma will assume idam vritti, this thought, the atma assumes aham vritti, knower, and knowledge takes place. Here, when in case of Atma, well, only one step. Atma, the mind assumes the form of a consciousness. The very vritti assumes, samvritti assumes the form of a consciousness. Well, and there is no other step called recognition, etc. Well, I don't want too much dwell into that. But so definitely, so just objectification, no recognition of a Atma. Recognition of a pot is required because it is jadam. Recognition of Atma is not required because it's self-conscious. So only just objectification. In case of a pot knowledge, objectification plus recognition. Both are there. In case of Atma Jnanam, only objectification. Mind assumes the very form of a consciousness. And that is their basis, in fact. That's the basis of even a error, ahankara. I am ahankara, I am a pramata, that has a basis in this. I am 9th, etc. has a basis in the 10th man only. 10th man is the basis for, the error and the ignorance of the 10th man, both. Anyway, so this, here, also jnanavritti, of course, is required for the aparoksha jnanam, generated by Shastra Guru Upadesha Pramana, and this without vritti, knowledge doesn't take place. And therefore, self-knowledge also we call akhandakar vritti, brahmakar vritti. Akhandakar means the division. I am consciousness free from the division of knowledge, knower, known. That's called akhandakar vritti. There is nothing that there is something happening in the mind where there is no khanda. You don't think that way. It's not like that. So just I am consciousness which is distinct from knower, known, and knowledge. In the light of this knowledge itself, the knower resolves. Means understood mithya. Resolves means knower is understood as a mithya. Earlier he was telling I am a knower. Known is different. Now, this is Brahmakar vritti means this. I am consciousness distinct from knower, known. I pervade all the three, and yet I am distinct from all the three. I pervade all the three means when knower is there, I am there. Knower is not there, I am there. When thought is there, I am there. Thought is not there, I am there. World is there, object of knowledge is there, I am there. Object of knowledge is not there, I am there. This is called distinction. I pervade all the three. They don't pervade me. In absence of them, I am there. This is knowledge. Anyway, so this Gnana Vritti, which is generated by Shastra Guru Upadesha Pramana, well, is not sufficient. Purvapakshi says it gives you paroksha jnana. Parallelly, there should be absence of Dvaita Darshanam also. Dvaita Darshanam doesn't take place and Aham Brahmasmi Vritti takes place. That is called aparoksha jnana. So, Dvaita Darshanam, Vidyaranya says Dvaita Vismruti, means Dvaita Adarshana. Let's take it that way. Dvaita Adarshana must be present. Dvaita Darshanam must be absent. That way. Dvaita Vismruti, he says. Non-perception of the world. Dvaita Darshanam also you can say. Now, so in the Jagrata Avastha, during now where both these things takes place, what is that Avastha? That's the issue. Dvaita Vismruti also should be there. Dvaita Adarshanam should be there. Non-perception should be there. Perception of world should be absent. And at the same time, Atma Jnanam also should be there. Both the things should be there. What is that Avastha? Well, this is not possible. In Jagrata Avastha, during Shravanam, Jnana Vritti takes place, but Dvaita Darshanam is there. Right there, the student is seeing the teacher. Right there, he is seeing the walls. Everything he is seeing the book. All Dvaita Darshanam. So, Jagrata Avastha is not the stage where aparoksha jnanam takes place. No, paroksha jnanam takes place. Jnana Vritti definitely arises. But simultaneously, along with the Advaita Jnanam, Dvaita Darshanam is there and therefore not pure Advaita Jnanam. And therefore, definitely, Dvaita Darshanam, since it is there in Jagrata Avastha, that is not an ideal state of gaining a non-dual Brahma Jnanam or Atma Jnanam. In Swapna also, well, even if we manage to have a Jnana Vritti in Swapna, people see. Who sees? I am myself. Because all the time teaching, and so in Swapna also sometimes it comes, I am Brahman, this, etc. So, sometimes the class gets repeated in Swapna, really, I am telling you. So, suppose, but if you manage to have a Jnana Vritti in Swapna, but still Dvaita Darshanam is still there. Some you are seeing the objects, you are seeing the Swapna students, you are seeing Swapna class, all that. So Dvaita Darshanam will still there. So Swapna Avastha also is not an ideal state for gaining aparoksha jnanam of Atma. Well, in Sushupti, Dvaita Darshanam is not there. So one condition is fulfilled. Dvaita Vismruti takes place, definitely. But Jnana Vritti is absent. Therefore, Sushupti also is not ideal condition for gaining aparoksha jnana of Atma. Then we should go to the fourth, Turiya. That's called Nirvikalpika Samadhi, in which both are there. Aham Brahmasmi knowledge also is there, because he has already listened in Jagrata Avastha. So that Paroksha Jnanam is still there. Aham Brahmasmi, that knowledge is there. Paroksha, but he does not have done it. He has not a Sakshatkara. But knowledge is there. So Jnana Vritti is there, who is going now towards Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And when he reaches to Nirvikalpa Samadhi absorption, then Dvaita Darshanam also goes away. Dvaita Vismruti takes place. Therefore, Nirvikalpa Samadhi is an ideal state where both the conditions are fulfilled for aparoksha jnanam of Atma, supraconscious state. Okay, so I I don't see anything, but I am there. Which I am there? Non-dual. Nothing else is there other than me. That's absorption. That is called absorption, where you are not even aware of a time, place, objects, everything. And knowledge, of course, is there. Your paroksha jnanam will get converted into experience. And this is the practical thing. One should go to nirvikalpaka samadhi, paroksha jnanam, atma sakshatkar. So all Jivan Mukta Jnanis, well, has a paroksha jnanam and they don't see the world. We have to say that. What can we say? And then how he is a Jivan Mukta? Why? What's your problem? Because he is living, right? Then if his body continues, prana continues, everything continues, then he has a prarabdha or not? Yeah, he has a prarabdha. Then prarabdha bhoga will take place or not? Yeah, it will take place. How will it take place? Because he is not experiencing the world. How prarabdha bhoga will take place? Without experiencing prarabdha bhoga, can you explain that special prarabdha? Whole castle falls. So Vidyaranya says answer to this such a champion of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This people who want to go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, they have a fancy of mysticism, some kind of a mysticism. Somebody told me before years, I still remember, that attending the class and gaining knowledge and an experience of a non-dual Atma, in between there is a dark road. This is anirvachaniyam, he said. I did not understand what he said. But he said this is anirvachaniyam. How this knowledge which we listen in the class gets converted into experience of a non-dual Atma is anirvachaniyam. It's a dark road that few people can cross. Now I understood. It's not dark road. It's Nirvikalpaka Samadhi which can take us to that. All lovers of mysticism will talk about Samadhi. And Vedanta is one who does not talk about Samadhi. Who is basically a very objective person. He talks about something what is truth and what is mithya. He does not talk about any mysticism. Anyway, but still we will show, since the person is a lover of mysticism, we will have to give some place, accommodation for Samadhi, and Vidyaranya is going to give that. Anyway, but Vidyaranya answers here in this 187. Ubhayam militam vidya. So, Ubhayam, both are required. That is called Vidya, Atmajnana. What? First is blacking out the world, non-experience of the world, Dvaita Vismruti, and Atmajnanam through Shravana, combined together. Dvaita Vismruti should be there, Advaita Jnanam should be there, is equal to Atma Sakshatkara. So Vidyaranya says Vidya. Vidya means this aparoksha Vidya, aparoksha Jnanam, Ubhayam militam. Yadi, O Purupakshi, if you are saying so that both are required, then well, all inert objects of the world also have a non-experience of the world. Right? Gatadayaha ardhavibhajinaha syuhu. Pot, etc. Well, one condition is fulfilled. Out of the two, if one condition is fulfilled, then this pot, etc. are half liberated. Which condition is fulfilled? They never experience Dvaitam. So, they are possessor of Ardhavidya. Ardhavidya Bhajinaha. Ardhavidya Bhajinaha. Ardhavidya Bhaji. Ardhavidya Bhaji. Bhaji Bhajinau Bhajinaha. Bhajinam Bhajinau Bhajinaha. So, basically, Ardhavidyam Bhajate. Iti Ardhavidya Bhaji Bhajate. So, they prapnoti. So, basically, they have Ardhavidya. Half of, you say Ubhayam, half of them they have. Dvaita Vismruti they have. They never experience Dvaita, pot, etc. And therefore, definitely, they don't see Dvaitam. They are in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Only they don't have that Aham Brahmasmi Vritti. That's okay, but half of they are half liberated. Sakala Dvaita Vismrute, they don't see any type of duality, and so, well, let us call this pot, etc., as a half liberated. At least half of the road is crossed towards moksha, half is left. Pot, etc., do not have a Dvaita Vismruti. They need a knowledge that will take place, no problem. But right now, at least half of the thing has gone that they never experienced Dvaitam, pot, etc., the whole world, which is inert. He's just teasing. Verse 188. मशकध्वनिमुख्यानां विक्षेपाणां बहुत्वतः तव विद्या तथा न स्यात् घटादीनां यथा दृढा. He says, well, we can see you are also in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, don't experience Dvaitam, and pot, etc., also lying besides you, that also is in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, don't experience Dvaitam. But since Nirvikalpa Samadhi of a pot is far better than you, your Nirvikalpa Samadhi, it's superior to your Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Why? Why? See, your Nirvikalpa Samadhi is very, very fragile. It gets disturbed by Mashaka Dvani. So, it gets disturbed by the humming sound of this mosquito, right? And so, Mukhyanam, Mashaka Dvani Mukhyanam. So, like various disturbances, like the sound of a mosquito, etc., your Nirvikalpa Samadhi, well, is Vikshepanam Bahutvatah. Your Nirvikalpa Samadhi has a very much disturbance. Plenty. For any human being, of course. So, you will not be, in fact, you want to go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, you will not succeed because of this Mashaka Dvani, right? Or even if you succeed, well, you are not able to stay in the Samadhi. Maximum you can sleep, but people who go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi and get sleep, and then that mosquito Dvani will come, and then they even get up from that also. So well, definitely, if you go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, it is disturbed by Mashaka Dvani. It's of an inferior quality. Look at the Nirvikalpa Samadhi of a pot. Number of mashakas, number of mosquitoes are roaming around the pot, and still it remains in Nirvikalpa Samadhi all the time. And therefore, Nirvikalpa Samadhi of a pot is of superior quality. I hope you are understanding that this is a joke going on right now. So, this is a Vidyaranya style. So, even when you compare half knowledge of a pot, his half knowledge, Vidya, right? He said, Ubhayam Militam Vidya. Half knowledge means in terms of Dvaita Vismruti. Well, that is, Mashaka also has, and you also, when you reach to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, you also have this half knowledge of Dvaita Vismruti, not experiencing any Dvaitam. You also have, pot also has. But definitely his half knowledge is superior. Tava Vidya Tathana Syat. Tava Ardha Vidya. Your half knowledge is not of superior quality. It is never as great as Gatadinam Ardha Vidya. It is not as great as the half knowledge called Dvaita Vismruti. Is never great as half knowledge of these pots, etc. Yatha Drada. They have a very firm half knowledge. Syat. So conclusion is, non-perception of world is not a condition for Advaita Jnanam. Understand this. We are telling him. We can happily get Advaita Jnanam even if Dvaita Prapancha is perceived by sense organs. Seeing the duality, well, seeing the duality, you can say I am non-dual Brahman, because Advaita Jnanam is gained from right pramana. Perception does not reveal duality. Let's say this is we are taking like that. Perception does not reveal duality at all. When you see, I don't want to discuss, but I will discuss perhaps on another occasion. These two objects are there. Eyes reveal the object. Eyes reveal this object. Eyes do not say these two are different. Ah. Eyes reveal blue clip. Eyes reveal this green clip. Eyes do not say they are different. It is here. It is here. This is different than this is not revealed by the eyes. It is revealed here. Same way, eyes do not say that, well, I reveal colors and the sound is different from, I don't perceive the sound. Sound is different from the color, etc. Eyes have no scope in the sound. Where is a question of showing the difference? Sound, etc., where eyes do not have a scope to even grasp and then later say that is sound is different from the color, etc., that is not there. Perception reveals the world. That is this is different, that is different, all here. Perception does not reveal duality. Perception reveals only the world consisting of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. One sound is different from the other sound is not revealed by the ear. It is revealed here. Anyway, this is very simple. But anyway, so let's talk right now that perception reveals duality. So, we can happily get Advaita Jnanam, we are saying to him. So, even if Dvaita Prapancha is perceived by sense organs, seeing the duality, I can say I am non-dual Brahman, because Advaita Jnanam is gained from a right source of knowledge. It can't be disturbed by the counter experience, opposite experience. I already told you. So, knowledge revealed by a valid source cannot be opposed by cannot be contradicted by a opposite experience. Like a star is far bigger than the entire earth, that is this knowledge I have gained through science, well, can definitely cannot be disturbed by the opposite experience of that star is smaller and earth is bigger. My experience is earth is bigger, star is smaller. Actually, science has told me that star is much bigger than earth. And therefore, well, definitely I can happily have a knowledge when eyes perceive little stars. Knowledge of bigness of the stars is not contradicted by the opposite experience of smallness of stars. I hope you are understanding. So, knowledge of bigness of stars is not contradicted by the opposite experience, perception of the smallness of stars. Well, why? Because one is mithya, other is satyam. Okay? Satyam cannot be opposed by mithya. That's the thing. That's it. Satyam cannot be opposed by mithya. One satyam is opposed by other satyam. Can be contradicted. But this is not. Similarly, I am non-dual Brahman. Knowledge, born of valid source of knowledge. There it was science, here it is Veda. Well, cannot be opposed by experience of a duality, because duality is mithya. Knowledge of a non-dual Brahman generated from the words of a teacher and Shastra cannot be contradicted by the opposite perception, experience of duality. Knowledge of the bigness of the star generated by the words of science cannot be opposed, contradicted by the opposite experience of the smallness of stars. Perception of the smallness of stars is mithya. That's it. We all have crossed. Whatever you see is not real. Whatever you see is not real. The very seer is mithya. The seeing is mithya, object is mithya, then seer is also mithya. The contact between two things, the transaction between two things takes place of the same reality. The very sight in which the seer and the object of seeing connects, darshana vritti, is mithya. Means duality is mithya. Duality is mithya. And therefore, why are you Dvaita Vismriti, Dvais Vismriti? Dvaita Darshanam should not be there. Dvaita Darshanam should not be there. A Dvaitam cannot oppose this Advaitam being mithya. There is no need of going to Nirvikalpaka Samadhi. While seeing duality, you can say, I am non-dual Brahman. There is nothing other than me. Ekameva Advitiyam. So, these five sense organs, well, they perceive the Shabdadi, etc. Well, that is just a Vyavarika Satyam. Then knowledge does not require, Atma Jnanam does not require non-perception of the world. I need not have to go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, not at all required. I was, I am, I will be Advaitam. Whether sense organ perceive the world or not perceive the world. With the perception, I am Advaitam. With the thoughts, I am Advaitam. Without perception, without thought, I am Advaitam. Whether without world, I am Advaitam. With world, I am Advaitam. That's it. With waves, there is water. Without waves, there is water. Water is there all along. With world also I am. These are all Pujya Swamiji's words. Don't think that, Swami is telling me. These are all Pujya Swamiji's. These are all borrowed. Don't worry at all. I am reminding you. Yes, say it at some place. With thoughts, I am. Without thoughts, I am. With world, I am. Without world, I am. Means it is me all the time. All the time. Not that with world I go away. Without world I will be there. No. With world also you are. Without world also you are. Sound, you are. Without sound, you are. Color, form, you are. Color, form absent, you are. I generally say consciousness. Pujya Swami says consciousness. Now I have to say you are. That's it. That's it. Sound is, consciousness is. You have heard this. Sound is not, consciousness is. So-called world of duality. Well, it is there, consciousness is there. Non-dual Brahman, where is opposition? Where is opposed? Well, sound, etc. Well, sound is there, hearer is there, object of hearing, sound is there, and then the sound vritti takes place. All Dvaitam has come. Advaitam is gone. Where it is gone? Where it is gone? All the three are based in consciousness. Where are these three without consciousness? Please let me know. Therefore, Dvaitam cannot oppose Advaitam. Therefore, Dvaita Vismriti should be there. Then only Advaita Sakshatkara takes place. It's a humbug thing. So once vritti is generated, very vritti is aparoksha jnana. The vritti is aham vritti. That aham vritti is not of ahankara now. Ahankara is born of ajnanam, but once you are said that you are consciousness, the very ignorance and the ahankara based on ignorance both resolve. I am consciousness, etc. And that is aparoksha jnana. When you say I am consciousness, self-revealing consciousness, that is aparoksha jnana. What else you require? Which stage where you have to go? At the best, you need a jagrata avastha. That is there. You should not sleep while somebody is taking a class. Nobody is sleeping, I am saying right now. This is for others. Verse 189. Atmadhireva vidyeti yadi tarhi sukhi bhava dushta-chittam nirundhyachet nirunditvam yatha sukham. So, conclusion is basically aham brahmasmi vritti generated by this Guru Upadesha, etc. at the time of Shravanam, that is aparoksha jnana. That like the 10th man gets aparoksha jnana, he has not to go to some samadhi. There and there, listening to Mahavakya called you are 10th. There and there, well, the ignorance about himself and the wrong conception, error, I am 9th, etc. or 10th man is lost, whatever, resolves. So, Atma Dhihi means Antakarana Vritti. So, Antakarana Vritti which has taken a shape of Atma, like that we have to say, which we call objectification without really being object there. Without really being object there. If you say Atma is also object of knowledge, really, we say objectification means Atma, as the vritti takes a form of Atma, means we say it's an object of knowledge. But really it is not an objectification. If it is a really an object, then you need another Atma to recognize that object. Like in the case of a pot. That's not the case. And therefore it is here in form of this Antakarana vritti called Aham Brahmasmi, etc. That is sufficient. Eva means that is sufficient, and this vritti alone, well, is called Aham Brahmasmi vritti alone is called Vidya, not Ubhayam Militam Vidya, combined together. Dvaita Darshanam also should not be there, and well, Aham Brahmasmi vritti also should be there. That is called Atma Sakshatkara, Aparoksha Jnanam. No. And therefore, well, when we said this, Purapakshi got agreed. He said, yes. This second condition of Dvaita Vismriti, well, I am dropping. So, Nirvikalpak Samadhi, non-perception of world, etc. is not required, I have understood. And then we said, okay, Yadi, if you say so now, if you accept, Tarhi Sukhi Bhava, well, we wish you all the best, because that is our position also. So, then we have blessed him. Now, Purapakshi says, some good question. So, who is, as I told you, he is a lover of this samadhi, mysticism, etc. So, when he said, still, one should practice Nirvikalpak Samadhi, for at least for disciplining the mind, Shama, Dama, etc. We can gain sadhan, chatushtaya, sampatti, etc. We can gain. So, he says, Dushta Chittam Nirundhyat. By praising of a Nirvikalpak Samadhi, one should discipline, control, manage the mind. Patanjali uses this word nirodha, because now Nirvikalpak Samadhi has come, so nirundhyat, nirodha. So Vidyaranya also uses that verb. Dushta Chittam Nirundhyat. There they have a Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And therefore, Dushta Chittam means a wayward mind. Mind which is full of worries, a champion mind. Championing in worrying. So much worry. In spiritual field also it continuously worries. Whether I get moksha or not. Whether what will happen, etc. This, that. So, all the time worrying. Threefold worries, ownership-centered worries and family-centered worries and special prayer-centered worries. After prayer also he worries. Whether I will get Bhagavan will listen to this prayer or not. All the time worry. So a wayward mind which has full of worries, that's called dushta chittam here. So dushta chittam nirundhyat. So by practicing of nirvikalpa samadhi, one can definitely become free from these worries, etc. Iti chet. If you are asking like this, Vidyaranya says nirundi. Okay, control it. It's not compulsory. But if you like, you are basically, you love this nirvikalpa samadhi. Okay, practice that for this, managing your mind, etc. Do that, no problem. We have other means if you are interested. But no, I love samadhi. Okay, no problem. What other means are there? Karma yoga is there, upasana is there, they cannot help. But anyway, if you like this nirundi, samadhi abhyasam kuru, yatha sukham, comfortably do that. As and when you want, do. But then my question is, how will I know that my dushta chittam is controlled now? How will I know? Well, when you gain knowledge, and you are in a process of gaining knowledge, and every day you are saying that I am not liberated, because my mind has several issues, then definitely chittam is, I don't want to say, but then chittam is dushta. When you gain knowledge every day, and teacher uses a present tense and saying you are free, you are free, you are free, and this person says, well, I am not free, I am not free, I am not free, because my mind has so many problems. If you have this kind of, your mind is thinking in this direction, definitely it is dushtam. It is dushtam. And suppose you say, well, I got knowledge and I am free. And mind is to be managed for sadhan chatushtaya sampatti, etc. Well, for that I am doing nirvikalpa samadhi, etc. Well, you need not go to nirvikalpa samadhi. Okay? Okay? Your mind is not dushtam, but it is sushtam. Okay? Whatever. I am just saying, not dushtam, but it is a good mind. Basically, all this, I think we talked about it. Even in Niridhyasanam, one, gains a nishtha, etc., gains a clarity that I am free, etc., I am free from this deha, etc., I am not a deha. But then to enjoy the Jivan Mukti in a good measure, at the level of mind should have a sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, that is for sure. You can dismiss your mind because you have knowledge. But at the level of a mind, well, I want to enjoy the Jivan Mukti, well, then my mind should be like this, etc. If you want that kind of a thing, well, definitely you should have a sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. More the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, well, definitely less issues, and then definitely you can enjoy Jivan Mukti better. Otherwise, you can dismiss. I am not the mind. Issues are with the mind only. It's a broomstick. If either I decorate or I don't decorate it. So you can say definitely. So you are free. And you are free right now also, and you will say you are free because you listen to this. But at the level of mind, oh Swamiji, but then so my mind still gets angry, etc. Okay. Then have a sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. So then definitely your mind has a less and less issues. Anyway, so this is how verse 189, in which Vidyaranya has given an Ashirvada. Okay, continue with your practice samadhi if you want. Verse 190. Tadishtameштавьямaya mayattvasya samikṣanāt icchannappyagnavannecchet kimicchan iti hi shrutam. It's very complicated. Tadishtameштавьямaya mayattvasya samikṣanāt. We have to speak it together. Anyway, so in the previous words, Vidyaranya says, if you require a practice of a samadhi, we have already discussed samadhi abhyasa nididhyasana. There is a Brahmabhyasa Nididhyasana, which Brahmabhyasa Nididhyasana means what, like you are walking, talking, and you are taking a walk. and you think about the self. You think about yourself based on the teaching. You can do that. While eating, you can think. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam. While eating itself, before eating, I mean. And then whole process of eating can become a samadhi. Yatra yatra manoyati tatra tatra samadhaya. For a Vedantin, there is no need to sit at a one place and having a certain posture, etc. That is we call as a samadhi abhyasa, where you sit in a traditional form of a meditation. But generally it is not required. Tat chintanam, tat kathanam, anyonyam, tat prabodhanam. Etadeka paratvam cha brahmabhyasam tat chintanam. Tat kathanam. While talking itself is a samadhi. Talking about this, centered on the self, whole your process of thinking goes on. The samadhi. And anyonyam prabodhanam, so sharing, etc., reading, all this is samadhi. But if you feel no, in a given posture, etc., that has a certain advantage. I talked to you also. Initially that has advantages. Sitting in one posture and will help your mind for focusing. So that is very much required, because initially you may not be able, while Swamiji I am in samadhi while lying down, you will sleep. Therefore don't have this kind of an idea. But basically you are free. Vedanti can have a samadhi at any time. Yatra yatra manoyati. Wherever the mind goes, there is samadhi there. There he gets absorbed. Samadhi means an absorption. Absorption there. But absorption, well, my mind goes in that and absorbed in that. But this you see it as a self. That's a different issue. So then you can see this as a self, and that is absorption. Definitely. So you can do, but if you find it useful, you can still practice samadhi. Tadishtam. Practice of a chitta nirodha is desirable. For what? Now he is telling, for that person. For what purpose this chitta vritti nirodha is helpful? What purpose? It is desirable. Well, not for atma dhyana, but for dwelling upon the mithyatvam of the universe. Because this nididhyasanam, samadhi abhyasa nididhyasanam is useful for dwelling upon the mithyatvam of the universe. All emotional disturbances are due to satyatva buddhi in the world. World consisting of that family and body and mind, they all cause disturbance because of satyatva buddhi. So I always feel that I have knowledge but not liberated. So if mental disturbances should go, then one should meditate upon mithyatvam of a family, mithyatvam of a body, mithyatvam of a mind, etc. Well, in that case, this nirvikalpa samadhi can help you, because it resolves vikalpa. And therefore it helps you for understanding the mithyatvam of this world, because they are bothering you too much. Definitely. So Vidyaranya says maya mayatvasya samikshanat. Samyak ikshanam means a clear perception of what? Maya mayatvam mithyatvam. Clear perception of a mithyatvam, well, is in that nirvikalpa samadhi can definitely be helpful to you, because you resolve all the vikalpas. You resolve the perception of the world itself, in fact. So, nirvikalpaka samadhi is useful for mithyatva darshanam of anatma, then the atma darshanam, atma satyatva darshanam. And therefore, definitely do samadhi abhyasa for that. So, eshtavyam, desirable. So, desirable. What is desirable? Jagat mithyatva darshan. Here it says eshtavya maya mayatvasya samikshanat. So, maya mayatvam is eshtavyam. If that is desirable to you, to see the mithyatvam, maya mayatvam is mithyatvam of the world, well then, this nirvikalpa samadhi is useful to you. So, well, this is what we have said to this Purvapakshi who is really who really loves this Nirvikalpa Samadhi. We say this will be useful to see the Mithyatvam of the Anatma rather than seeing the Satyatvam of Atma. For seeing Satyatvam of Atma, you don't need Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So Purvapakshi is answered, and now Vidyaranya comes back to the original problem. What is that problem? Well, Jnani can perceive the world, so that Jnani can perceive this world even after aparoksha jnanam, and through perception he can exhaust his prarabdha vasana. Very much possible for the Jnani. Jnani will have a prarabdha, Jnani will have a prarabdha vasana, and Jnani will have a desire based on prarabdha vasana, and that those desires are called non-binding desires. We call it a desire for a loka sangraha, etc. All possible. So nothing wrong for a Jnani to have a non-binding desire. That was a question they raised by Purvapaksha. How can Jnani has a desire, and how can he have a bhoga, and etc. etc. Well, then so this is over. Question is, if Jnani has a desire, then Upanishad says kim icchan, kasya kamaya, kim icchan. Upanishad negates desire. Kim icchan means desiring what? Means then you said, oh Swami, that it is the akshepa, not that we are enlisting the objects of desire. Kim icchan means desiring what? Means desiring this, desiring that. No. Kim icchan indicates that he does not have a desire. Upanishad negates the desire, and Vidyaranya accepts desire. Vidyaranya says, well, Jnani will have a desire. Prarabdha is there, prarabdha vasanas are there, and non-binding desires are there, and so desires are there. Upanishad says there are no desires. So this part, he says, well, Vidyaranya says, I am accepting non-binding desire. Shruti negates desire. So we have to find a solution. And Vidyaranya finds a solution on his own. No. Don't worry. Already Acharyas before Vidyaranya have already accepted absence of desire, accepted presence of desire. In whom? In Jnani. Acceptance of a desire, non-binding desire. Absence of desire, binding desire. That has been accepted by the Acharyas, Gurus of Vidyaranya, which Vidyaranya loves most. And so he quotes that Acharya's statement. Anyway, so we'll be seeing that. So he concludes Kim Icchan part now by restating Icchan api, even though Jnani entertains many desire. Icchan api. So Jnani, even though attains, api means even though Jnani entertains many desire for a lok sangraha according to his prarabdha vasana, agnevat na ichchit. Like a agnevat means like a Ajnani, he does not entertain desires. This is a little grey area, looks like. Bhagavan said in Bhagavad Gita, Sakta karmani avidvamsaha yatha kurvanti bharata kuryat vidvan tatha asaktaha chikirshuhu loka sangraham. Yeah. Saktaha karmani avidvamsaha. So, vidvat shabda is there. So, vidvat, and this is avidvat. So, avidvan, avidvamsau, avidvamsaha. Or vidvan, vidvansau, vidvamsaha. Avidvamsaha. Not vidvan. Ajnanis. While saktaha karmani. Karmani saktaha. Asaktaha. They are very much attached to the actions. Means what? Definitely desires are there. Then only the action takes place. So, avidvamsaha karmani saktaha yatha kurvanti. Then they do actions. Kuryad vidvan tatha asaktaha. So, तथा असक्तः. India. Anyway, so Sata, not realizing what is the time here, what's program. Anyway, Tatha Asaktaha Vidvan Kuryat. Vidvan, which is Asaktaha. Asakta means not attached to any action. Means, well, he still is doing action, means desire is there. So that desire is non-binding. Asaktaha Vidvan Tatha Kuryat. Chikirshu hui. Kartum ichu. He wanted to do what? Loka Sangraham. He is engaged in various activities born on the desire only. Any action is born, there is no janani other than the desire. So desire based action is, so avidya, kama, karma we know. So kama only generates a karma. So he is also doing lot of activity. Vidwan. And Ajnani also is doing lot of activity. But Ajnani is saktaha, attached to the action because he is interested in a particular type of result, because he has a desire. So his desire is a binding desire. And Vidwan asaktaha, Jnani, well, he is also doing lot of action. He also has a desire, asaktaha. He has not to fulfill any particular desire. Still is engaged. Means his desire is a non-binding. Bhagavan himself has said. Anyway, so both are busy, but one is attached, other is not. Anyway, kimichan iti shrutam. So basically, kimichan iti hi shrutam. So our basically we are analyzing that Brihadaranyaka Vakya, right? So kimichan kasya kamaya shariram anusanjvaret. From that part, well, kimichan part is almost now over. Desiring what? Means Shruti Upanishad negates the desire. Vidyaranya says, add an adjective, that binding desire is absent in a Jnani. Non-binding desire is present in a Jnani. It was present in all the Jnanis. They were having a full, so many desires, my God. Big, so big desires. But Loka Sangraham, non-binding. Whether non-binding means what? Whether they are fulfilled or not fulfilled, they don't bother. Desires are fulfilled through the actions or not, they don't bother. If desire don't bother you, entertain desire. If desire bothers you, that whether I will be able to fulfill this desire, etc. or not, it's a binding desire. Don't fulfill that. You can say that way. 191. Rago lingam abodhasya santu ragadayo budhe iti shastradvayam sartham evam satyavirodhatah. So wherever moksha is defined as a sarva kama nasha, prajahati yada kaman, etc., well, you should add an adjective that all the desires have gone away from this sthita prajna. Well, you should understand all these kamas are bandhaka kama nasha. So sarva kama nasha is a moksha, sarva bandhaka kama nasha is a moksha. Not totally free from the desire. The jnani, who is a jivan mukta, entertains many desires. Shankaracharya ji uses the word ashuddha kama, etc. elsewhere. So anyway, so it's an is it an adjective added by us? No. Shruti does not add. Vidyaranya says it is not a personal, interest. Beginning from all acharyas also have put this kind of an adjective, and they have interpreted the kamanasha like this. Bandhaka kamanasha has been explained that way only. And here he quotes a Sureshwaracharyaji's statement. Look at the Sureshwaracharyaji's statement, which reveals what I am saying, or which confirms what I am saying. What are the two here there are two statements based on two works of Sureshwaracharyaji. One work is Naishkarmya Siddhi. and other work is a Brihadaranyaka Vartikam on Brihadaranyaka Upanishad Bhashyam. And so in Naishkarmya Siddhi, you find he talks about desire in one way. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad Vartikam, he talks about the desire in other way. From there we can understand that definitely one type of desires are present in a jnani, other types of desires are absent in a jnani. See, first is what? Ragaha lingam abodhasya. Ragaha lingam abodhasya. Naishkarmya Siddhi, 4th chapter, 67th verse. Part of it is quoted here. Lingam, indicator. Ragaha, desire. Desire is a lingam. Desire is a indicator of what? Abodhasya. Bodha means knowledge. Abodhasya, ignorance. So, ragaha lingam abodhasya means a desire is a lingam, is an indicator of a ignorance. This is one statement. Any type of a desire is indication of ignorance. Wherever ignorance is there, desire is there. Where ignorance is there, desire is there. Where desire is there, ignorance is there. Very good. Well, then Jnani should not have any desire. Yes. Okay. Then second statement. Santu ragadayah budhe. Budhe. In Buddha. Buddha means in Jnani. Ragadayah santu. Well, in a wise person, let there be any number of desires. Ragadayah. Let there be any number of desires. Right now I am taking desires. Raga adi. Ragadayah means adi. Any number of dveshas, let it be there. Any number of other things also, let it be there. Hey, what are you saying? We'll see, don't worry. So let there be any number of desires in a jnani. Iti shastra dvayam, iti vakya dvayam. These two contradictory statements are there. Brihadaranyaka Vartikam, as I told you, it's an elaborate commentary on Bhashyam of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. 12,000 verses. 12,000 verses are there on the Bhashyam of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So, independent commentary of a Sureshwara Acharyaji called Vartikam. So, Uktam Anuktam Duruktam Va Yatra Chintara Parvartate Tam Vartikam Prahuhu Vartikagnyaha, like that it is said. Uktam Anuktam Duruktam Va. Whatever has been told by the Acharya Bhashyakara, well, has been repeated here in the Vartikam. That's one Lakshana. Anuktam. Bhashyakara has not looked upon a particular standpoint. When the Vartikara has seen that standpoint, and then he mentions Anuktam. That also will be there in Vartikam. And Duruktam. Bhashyakara has said something, and Vartikara, being even a disciple, he did not agree. At few places it is like there, it is there. Then, he shows that he has a different opinion, etc. also in Vartikam. So that 12,000 verses are there. And this Santu Ragadaya Budehe is in one of the verse, where in the first chapter of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the 4th Brahmana, Purushavida Brahmanam, on that there is a Bhashyam. On that there is this particular verse, part of that has been quoted here, and the verse number is 1539. 1539. Well, so Ragaha Lingam Abodhasya. Well, definitely this desire is a indicator of ignorance. And second statement, in wise person, let there be any number of desires. How can I now consolidate these two things? Evam sartham, both the statements become meaningful in this manner only. Which manner? Taking that non-binding desires, let there be any number of non-binding desires in a jnani, and binding desire is absent in a jnani. If binding desire is there, it's a lingam, indicator of ignorance. Non-binding desires, let there be there in a Jnani's mind in plenty. That is the way to resolve this both the statements. Evam sati avirodataha, well, is in such interpretation, well, there is no contradiction. So what you have been studying for, well, several days, even Bhagavan also has a given in form of a clue. Indriyasya indriyasyarthe ragadvesho vyavasthito. Every sense organ has a ragadvesha for its own objects, and he does not specify for Jnani, Ajnani, deities, avatara, anything. Well, so any number of ragadveshas based on their desire also will be there. Ragadvesha itself is a desire, but anyway, so nothing wrong in any having any number of ragadvesha. Bhagavan says tayoho vasham nagachet. Never become addict to that. Jnani is not addict to fulfill his ragadvesha. Fulfill? Okay. Not fulfill? Okay. Not binding. Verse 192, we'll just see 2 lines only, and then we'll stop. जगन्मिथ्यात्ववत् स्वात्मा संगत्वस्य समीक्षणात् कस्य कामायेति वचः भोक्तृभाव विवक्षया. Now Vidyaranya concludes a commentary on Kimichan, which we started in verse 135 and it has come up to this 192. And significant is what of this section? Well, Jnani does not have any binding desire because he looks at the world as a mithya. And if you look at the world as a mithya, then you don't feel to fulfill the desire. You are not bound to fulfill the desire. And indirect significance of this section is Kimichan is basically Bhogya Prapancha Mithyatvam. Well, we will say Jagan Mithyatvam. And now what we are going to do is we are going to comment upon Kasya Kamaya. Kimichan Kasya Kamaya Sharir Manu Sanjvaret. We are right now, commenting. The 7th chapter is a commentary on this Brihadaranyaka mantra. And therefore, now this part, second line of this mantra we are commenting upon. In that, Kimichan part is over. Kasya Kamaya commentary now will be there. Means Kasya Kamaya means what? For whose fulfillment Jnani desires an object. Previously, what object does he desire? Kimichan means there is no object. There is no object. Bhogya Vishaya. Because it's all mithya. But here, now for whose fulfillment Jnani desires an object means there is no desiring bhokta in a Jnani. Desire is negated. Mithya. So first, Bhogya Prapancha is negated. Mithyatam has been shown of a Bhogya Prapancha. Now, Bhokta has been negated. Kasya Kamaya, for whose fulfillment Jnani desires an object, means there is no, I am not a Bhokta, etc. So Bhokta is Mithyatam has been shown now. Bhoktru Nisheda, you can say. First, Bhogya Nisheda. Kimichan reveals Bhogya Nisheda. And Kasya Kamaya reveals Bhoktru Nisheda. Verse 192 to 222. We will be discussing this section. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.